crafters, thanks for joining me here in the attic. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite beverage, and we'll get to crafting and memory keeping. I can't believe we're on week 4 of our hashtag AWoodlandSteampunkSpring. This is a collaboration put on by Stacy over at Crafty Dragon Creations and Karin at Creative Paper Artisan. They have 2 beautiful kits that work well together. If you haven't grabbed these yet, there will be a link down in the description box where you can go over and grab one or both of these kits. Stacy's is Steampunk Woodland and Karin's is Steampunk Forest. There is also a coupon code down in the description box. I want to apologize in advance. I took a trip last week and my sinuses did not agree with that trip, so I'm probably gonna have to pause and cough some in this video, so I'm gonna try to cut all that out, but I wanted to make sure I got it up on my day. We are on week 4, which is binding. We've had Stacy and Karin on Sunday, and on Monday we had Teri. Again, Val had to drop out of the collaboration. She had some printer issues, so there is not a 7th collaborator, so there are only 6. Make sure you're going over and watching everybody's video and liking and commenting on all 4 weeks of everybody's video to be entered into the giveaway at the end of the month. And again, for an extra entry, you can post your projects in Karin or Stacy's Facebook group and be sure to hashtag AWoodlandSteampunkSpring. There will be several of us that are doing week 5 flip-throughs of our videos. I don't know that everybody is doing that, but these are not required for liking and commenting on to win the prizes, but do be sure to go over and check out everybody's final projects. Today it's myself and Santhini with Sannie Creates, and tomorrow you'll have Susan with I Turtley Love It, ending out the collaboration. But again, you still have all week and next week to catch up on all the videos, comment, like, to be entered into the giveaway. There will also be a link down in the description box for everybody's channels, and there will be a playlist link at the end of this video where you can go back and check out all the videos. So let's get on with my binding for my folios. Again, I did 5 folios with the different themes that I decided to use with all the papers for the kit. I am going to just show you how to bind one of these because I'm going to bind them all exactly the same. First thing I want to do is I've cut out some gears from that manila file folder that I was using as part of my folio cover. And I want to distress these up a little bit. I'm going to start with just using some gold ink pad and just go directly to the project here with these and see if I can just get some gold ink on all these gears just as a base layer. Next, I'm just going to ink up the edges here with some vintage photo. For the next layer, I'm going to put some gloves on. I always forget to do this and I end up with inks and glues and everything all over my hands, but that's okay. And I'm going to be using some Rub and Buff in the Spanish copper to add some more depth to these gears. I'm not going to cover the whole gear. I just want to hit some highlights just to make these gears look aged and rusted. and distressed. For my binding method, I am going to be doing a fairly simple binding here. Instead of a 3-hole pamphlet stitch that I like to do a lot, I'm going to bind this signature in with brads. This will allow me to take out these pages if I want to and add things to it later if I need to. So I'm going to start putting the signature in together a lot like I would if I was going to sew this in. Kind of get my pages all lined up the way I want them. And then I want to line up the seam of the signature with the seam in this folio. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up. I'm going to use my binder clips to hold this in place. And then the next thing I want to do, I want to measure the center of my signature because I want one of the brads to definitely be in the center. Grab my pen and mark the center. And then I'm going to come in about 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom to do the other 2 holes. And then the same way I would punch holes for if I was going to do sewing in a signature, I'm going to go ahead and put my foam underneath and poke my holes. Make sure it goes all the way through. And now before I put the brads in, this is where I want to put my gears, because I'm going to put gears over these holes so it looks like it's being held in with both the gears and the brads. The brad won't hold this gear in. I am just going to glue these down over the holes that I punched. You will need to make sure you've got long enough brads that'll go through the folio and your signature, depending on how big your signature is. And I'm going to flip the folio over, and I'm going to insert my brad on the back of the folio. And that will give me a little design there, and then I'll turn this around so that the brad prongs are flat into the fold of the signature. And then last, the third one. then I can just take my clips off. If you wanted this to be more permanent to where you couldn't take the pages out, you could have waited and glued on the gears over the brad, and then that would have made it to where you couldn't open the brad back up. But again, I wanted this to be where I could take pages out or add pages if I wanted to later. So then it folds back up just like that. Then the spine of the folio has the little brad showing on the edge. Then it closes back up with the little closure, and you've got a little folio that you can add pages, take out pages, and this is a little less intimidating way if you're new to junk journaling and you haven't wanted to try out sewing in the signatures yet. This is a great way to still get that sewn in feel without the added stress of trying to figure out the actual way to sew those signatures in. I hope you've enjoyed this part 4 of hashtag AWoodlandSteampunkSpring. I am going to finish up and bind in all my folios and finish all my decorations, and next week I'll come back and do full flip throughs of all the folios. So be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to be entered into the giveaway, and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I put up any new content. And until I see y'all again here in the attic, y'all take care.